Nicer chairs. Yeah, these chairs were just built today. Literally just built today. I didn't build them. We had volunteers, Mario. All right, we're running right into the next one, guys. I know you guys are excited. I'm an excitable guy as well. I understand that. Okay, all right. I'm really excited about this one. We also knew already by a show of hands, a lot of DJs in here. Probably one of the most common questions I get is how do I break out of my market? And it's a question I ask myself. I'm excited to share some of my own stories, but we have a really great panel today about going global, your DJ career blueprint. So I know you guys know there's over 100,000 songs that are dropped every single day. Social media moves at lightning speed, just like John Curley just said, and artists are breaking through in unexpected ways every day. But today we're gonna find out how to cut through the noise and uncover what it really takes to go from local to global. We have three great panelists. Kai William, my man, makes some noise for Kai. He's very involved today. He's an awesome guy. I'm excited for you guys to get to know him. He's an accomplished DJ producer with releases on Knee Deep in Sound, Solid Grooves, Experts Only, and his own label, Andhera Records. And he's a standout DIY success story. We have Daisy Santow. Make some noise for Daisy. She's a booking coordinator at Wasserman Music, one of the most respected agencies, and she helps route tours, manage calendars, and ensure shows run flawlessly. She does. She followed up on an email chain 5 times on Friday. It was incredible. She's legit. And Mario Danza, my guy, makes some noise for Mario. He's the founder of Define Group, and he manages artists like Sid, Truth and Lies, Long Story Short. He also helps run a digital network with over 2 million followers through DJ Lovers Club and more. Make some noise for our panelists, guys. This is gonna be good. So there's so much information circling about how to become a touring DJ, and today's about grounding everything in facts and experience. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with Kai. Kai, New York City is one of the hardest markets in the world to stand out. There's some similarities and some differences from Chicago, but it's a different breed over there. What helped you rise above the noise, and what were some early steps or risks that you took in playing a key role in building your name?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's a bit of a confusing thing. There's not really one playbook that works for me that will work for you, and works for you and won't work for somebody else. I want to preface this before I get into this is that some things, it's just right place, right time. But I'm a believer that if you're doing something consistently enough, that you will be in the right place at the right time eventually. When I first started DJing, actually Mario gave me one of my first gigs in New York City, but I was in a duo and we split off. I did my solo project, he started throwing parties, and this was right around the pandemic. I was fortunate enough to stay really close with him, and we had the only venue on the East Coast that was allowed to operate actual legal events with headliner DJs such as Jamie Jones, Art Bat, Lee Foss, Dennis Frey, and the list goes on. So my first gigs as a DJ, I was making music, but was opening up for artists like that. It's a pretty rare opportunity, but it was one of those things, right place, right time. Not gonna happen for everybody, but like I was saying, if you're consistent enough, it can happen for you to be in the right place. The other thing that happened for me is when the pandemic ended and everything opened back up, all the other artists that couldn't play were getting booked over me. So what I decided to do, because no one's giving me those opportunities anymore because my music wasn't well known, it was just DJing because I had the opportunity. I started Andhera, my own record label, and besides being able to put out my own music, I was really able to build a community of people. And I think that's really important is when you're putting people before yourself and helping them out, you don't even have to ask them for things. They'll just start doing things for you. So I do a lot of teaching. I also help host workshops like this all over the country. But you know, people will just kind of start giving things to you, helping you tour in their cities and things like that. So in building your own community and really not making it about yourself, as hard it is to not talk about what you're proud of with your art, help people out, and they should in turn help you back out.
Yeah, for sure. I was at ADE this year, and there was so much talk about community and how to be authentic and relatable. And I think people, they want to be part of a village, but they're unwilling to be a villager. Okay, it's not going to work. If you want to be part of a community, you need to be at the center of that community. And I think that's so important to keep in mind, especially as we move forward in the industry. Thanks, Kai. Daisy, a common misconception is that signing with an agent will automatically make you blow up, right? Not true. An artist creates the demand, an agent amplifies that. So can you share some examples of artists who have done a good job of creating and maintaining demand? And are there moments where maybe you've been unexpected with a blow up?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to talk about DJ Heartstring, for example,
Yeah.
similar to like Kedema, Kiki, you know, Party Boy 69, that underground techno British rave scene. So we signed them a couple years ago, and I feel like a good agent, like a part of our job, a lot of it is demand and supply. That's like part of our job. So we started to notice kind of that underground techno. I mean, techno's been around forever, but that specific subgenre was making its way to the US. And when we signed them, they just like fit in easily. We didn't really have to explain or we just started to notice that fans themselves in the US, they were craving that type of music. So that's your demand as an agent. When you sign someone, you're looking around, what are kids listening to? Like, what can we bring to the table? We're always looking for what's next. So having signed them and brought them over, their first festival, I think, was ARC, and they were at 909, and they slipped right in, techno stage for them. And it's just keeping up with the times. I think we were talking about this earlier, but as an agent, you're always looking for what's next. And a lot of the time you're looking at Europe and, what's going on overseas. It's always going to be a risk. Is it too early to sign them? Is it the right time? But you have to kind of make that risk and also do research so that you are able to keep up with supply and demand. So
Yeah, and being authentic too. Like Marlon Hofstad, I feel like is such a great example as
yeah.
well. He's
We're seeing
playing
that now.
Lollapalooza Perry's stage.
Yeah,
Like, who
exactly.
here is from Chicago? Right? Okay. It is crazy to see who's playing at Perry's stage these days, right? Like, literally, you're like, I guarantee like Max Dean or these minimal tech guys are going to be playing like this 6 to 7 o'clock slot. That's wild, right? And I think it's being ahead of the curve with all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's important as an agent to always be looking at who's being authentic and original and true to themselves.
Exactly. I think there's always going to be a risk, and it's just knowing when to take those certain risks, and also just, again, keeping up what fans really want. That's your job, is to supply the demand.
Apply the demand. I like
Yeah.
that. Clip that, please. Thank you. Mario. So this guy, he's been in the game in a lot of different ways, and I just want to tell you, I'm really proud of you for where you're at, by the way. I'm not saying that condescendingly, by the way, as I look at you.
Appreciate that.
No, he fucks with me like crazy, so. Mario, how do you help artists navigate the transition from local DJ to touring artists? Is there a clear moment or milestone or signal you look for?
I think it's depending on their brand, right? Like people say all the time, oh, I have a brand, I have a logo, I have this. But like, do you have the depth of that brand? Do you understand the values that you're trying to go for? And is it cohesive in some sort of ways? Whether it comes music production, the look, the sound that you're going for, and just the way you communicate with your community, right? Like, even if it's very small, 50 people, right? Like, they should understand everything about your world, your story. And as you build that up, you can see that. And that's when I usually kind of like recognize and say, okay, he's got something. Doesn't mean they need 1 million followers or even maybe they have only 3,000. It's really just like the depth of it.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people I've been having calls with, and a common question again is like, I want to break out of my market. And I'm like, how do you do in your market? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to demonstrate, even if it's 50 people, that you have a pulse on your local market, right? Like Chicago is an amazing place, but a lot of you guys are coming from these flyover states, right? Wisconsin. I'm from Indianapolis, right? People haven't even heard of that. I'm like, yep, that's understandable. But I would really encourage you, like they're all saying, like, how can you be like the man or like the woman in your market, at least with a pulse, because then you expand to other regions and then you keep growing from there, and then people recognize that, and then you are that artist that you became from that city. So I don't want you guys to rush to tour. Like, really don't.
One thing I want to say is I was as passionate to get out of my local area, but I played so many shows because of that. I played so many shows that just, when I connected with that market, it didn't do me anything good. It actually harmed me, where the promoters took notice and they're like, well, he didn't sell more than 10 tickets. Why would I book him? So, and there's nothing worse than going and you're probably not making money on your first tour in most of these cities because you just want to get out and you take what you can. So the worst is to go there, travel across the country, lose money, play to nobody, and then not get booked again. It doesn't do anything for anybody.
Jesus.
And I've experienced it.
No, I mean, I think it is true. And I also think you kind of want some sort of fans there, right? Like, everyone says you have data analytics, there's Laylo, there's other texting platforms. Not saying that's where you start, Discord, wherever. But if you really don't have a fan there where you see them consistently and multiple fans, right? It doesn't have to be hundreds, but like at least 30 to 50, right? And that's how you grow. But if really no one's going to show up for you, why do you expect a promoter or someone to really want you there? You're only like Kai said, you're only harming yourself at the end of the day.
Ooh, I was just going to close out and saying, like, from an agency standpoint, when you're signing a new artist, our biggest thing before you sign someone is, have they sold out their own market? If they haven't sold out their hometown, that's a flag. Like, we know, like, if you can't make it in your own city, how are you going to make it? How can I book you anywhere else if you can't sell out in your own hometown? So just something to note.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that, Daisy. Like,
Yeah, that's like the first thing we look at. Like, where are they from? What have they been doing in their own market? If you're from New York and you can't sell out a 200 capacity club in your home, in your backyard in Brooklyn, or for example, then why would we book you? Like, how can I book you? It's harder for us to then, like, because we're the face of you. If you sign with an agency, we are representing artists. So how can I sell you to a promoter if you can't sell out your own hometown? So, yeah.
Facts. Literally. Do it. I told this story last year, but I couldn't get house gigs in Chicago when I moved here 10 years ago because, again, nobody knew who I was. I was, like, dying to play music I was making. So I rented speakers from Guitar Center. I put them in the back of my friend's Toyota Camry. We pushed the seats all the way up. We carried them up to the top of a taco place. I banged my knees on every single step. I set up my own CDJs just to play house music. Yeah. And little did I know, I was building a community all those years ago, and here I am now. I'm sure there were some people at those parties. And it's very, very fulfilling over the long period of time when you really commit like that. So my knees still hurt. Anyway, so we were talking about data, and data is everything. It really, really is important. I know as an artist, it's kind of scary to look at the numbers sometimes. But when it comes to breaking new markets, where are you guys actually pulling reliable data, and are artists overlooking anything when deciding where to tour? Let's start with Mario on this one.
Where I'm pulling most of my data, obviously Instagram, TikTok, you should know where your audience is, but the biggest things are the texting platforms now and the community engaging that you can build there, right? If people are even signing up, maybe you're just giving away a bootleg or a t-shirt, or maybe there's some sort of activation, like you said, you do a pop-up. If people aren't signing up for there, right, and I look at this data and I'm expecting, like, okay, well, I'm gonna sell 300 tickets, but I only have 50 signups, something might be off. Listen, I'm not saying everybody that follows you is going to sign up, but it's a good indicator. If you're getting these signups, you'll know exactly where to go.
What do you think, Kai?
For me, for the data that I find really useful is do things like bootlegs and just making your email list. And that's a whole other conversation on how to get that data. But a booking between you and a promoter is definitely a 50-50 thing at times, where I won't be selling enough tickets in Los Angeles, for example, but I have emails that I can send out a blast to my people that it's coming from the promoter's mailing list and my own, and it's a collaborative thing. And, a promoter will see that and be very, very impressed and want to work with you again.
I feel like Spotify is really good. I mean, Spotify is controversial in general, but from our perspective, like, when we talk to managers, and we don't really necessarily have the Spotify data that they have, but when you see on the back end, like, hey, so-and-so sells 3,000 tickets in Asia. They've never been to Asia. Maybe we should look into that. We use that kind of data and say, hey, you're right. Like, there's a whole other market that we didn't even know because we're just looking in North and South America. But if you're seeing that streaming in Asia is huge, like, we should route a whole Asia tour because you're pulling that data from Spotify, for example. But we also use, like, ticket sales as an example for data. Like, for booking, like, we'll use a whole tour history. If you haven't toured in 2 years and all we have is, like, your ticket finals, we use that data to go then route your whole next tour. If we see, oh, you only did 32% in Chicago, maybe we shouldn't go back to that venue. Maybe it was too big. Maybe we need to scale down. So we use data in a whole other way other than just streaming and other platforms that are helpful, but ticket sales are just as equally.
Yeah, who here is on SoundCloud actively? All right. Uploading your own music, using Hype Edit, getting your name out there. SoundCloud is making some big, big moves for independent artists, right? Like, their mantra is literally release music, get paid, get fans, right? And that is what you got to think about. Put your music out on SoundCloud. It is a thing for a reason. Also, because of TikTok, a lot of people uploading these sped up versions of songs. Those can't go on Spotify. They go on SoundCloud. So Gen Z is on SoundCloud, people. Okay, who's here, Gen Z? Let's go. Got a bunch of old people in here. Unk. So one thing that I'm always harping on is not all numbers equal ticket sales. Like we've kind of talked about this, right? You have 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. You can't sell one ticket in your hometown. You got 500,000 followers on TikTok, but you can't go to the places where people want you to come to because you don't have the connections. Many artists assume that these things actually translate to demand, but when it comes to metrics, like what should artists actually be paying close attention to?
Yeah, I can start with this one. Back to community being super, super important. How many of you will be on Instagram or TikTok and just watch a video, got a lot of entertainment about it, and then just follow the page and then never interact with them ever again? It happens to me all of the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So if you don't ever see them again, how can you buy tickets to their shows? It's why the community is so important. It's the people that are consistently commenting. When someone actually takes the time to comment on your post and you see them over and over and over again, that's a really good indicator that you have someone who's really bought into what you're doing. So paying attention to people who are consistently messaging. If you have a lot of DMs and messages and comments, to me, that's a good indicator on social media of like a really true bought-in fan.
Honestly, I don't even have an answer yet. I was kind of waiting to kind of get it together.
Well, what
but
about
kinda called on
DJ
me.
Lovers Club, right? Like you guys just hit over 1 million followers on that, right?
Yeah, 1.6.
Excuse me.
Right now.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Sorry. I had to correct you. But you know, I think it really, what Kai said is amazing, right? Your community, your brand. It's the look, how you tell your story. If you're not connecting with people and you, like he said, you're posting things, and yeah, maybe you post something funny or something serious, but it doesn't relate to your brand at all, it's not going to stick. You're not going to stick that fan at the end of the day, right? Because you need to sell your own story. It's not just about views. When, you know, especially on DJ Lovers Club, we have stuck out compared to all the other dance music pages because we created a brand voice that people can relate to. And it's not just, hey, this person is doing this. It's, you know, we made it funny in some sort of ways or a touching moment. And you play into the emotion of what your brand is, right? And if you're kind of just doing things to say, I think this can go viral, it won't help you. It actually will hurt you more than help you. So yeah, I mean, that would be my question.
I was just gonna say, I feel like data only gets you so far. Like we've all said this, like as an artist, you have to tell a story to your fans. So if you're only relying on numbers, it does help you to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, like you are there to connect with your fans. So you need to be genuine and authentic in that. So I wouldn't be so fixated on data all the time.
For sure. Completely agree. Like how can you make those real authentic connections like Kai is talking about? Like this sort of stuff, like this is real. We're all here. This is not online. Like this is what really matters. So yeah, appreciate that. So this one's for Kai and Mario, the relationship business. Everyone says it's all about relationships, but like, what does that really mean? Can you share a success story or even a failure story where relationships directly impacted bookings for your artist or yourself, Kai?
Go first. For me, I had a part-time, I've told this story many times, but I used to work at Posh Tickets. I was the first sales rep, and I was directly talking to the promoters and the people who made the decisions and met, you know, I had a book of 100 different clients, and I cashed in on those, and I set myself up a tour. I didn't have an agent. I barely had a manager at the time, and I just sent an email to all of them because I helped them out with their business and got them set up, and I treated them really well. Back to what I said earlier, you know, if you do things for people, they want to help you out. So I cashed them on at once. I set up an 18-show tour all by myself. Maybe I'll be an agent one day.
Yeah.
You didn't make any money though, right?
No, I didn't make any money,
Yeah.
and it's back to what Curly was saying too. It's like on the branding investment, it's like you just need to do certain things to get where you want to be. I didn't look at it as a money thing, but yeah, because of those warm relationships, I was able to do that. And unfortunately, on the other side of it, yeah, I've had times where I couldn't play on certain shows because somebody didn't like me because of something I did in my very young days as an artist. So
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
definitely helped me and hurt me. So just treat everybody the same. You don't know the person next in the dance floor could end up working at a venue you want to play at, or the bartender could introduce you to somebody, or the talent buyer, or the security. You never know. So I think it's super important to treat everybody with a little bit of respect.
Yeah, and also when you meet somebody, second time you talk to them, don't just start pitching, right? Like I see that it's happened to me, and I'm like, wow, we had 5 minutes, and now you're selling me on 7 things. And I truly think it's about not only growing your network, because your relationships and your Rolodex is your wealth in this business. It's really the fact that how do you do that? Like, are you just like hitting them up for something? Because, I meet tons of people and I get along with somebody and it's great. We continue the conversation. Doesn't mean that you don't let them know what you do, but don't just start going to ask, hey, can I get a gig here? Because I'm a talent buyer here. And I'm like, no. Like, in the back of my head, I'm like, no, because it's aggressive. It comes off. But like, if you develop that relationship and you say, hey, I got a project. I do this, this, and this. This is the music that I'm making. Love to know what you think about the music. Then you follow up like maybe a month or two later, or maybe you see them out, you say hello, and you grow it. And over time, when you are ready, right? Because most of the time, you may not even be ready for that market or whatever you're trying to do at that point. But when you are and you develop that relationship, they're going to be more inclined to be like, you know what? I've known him for 6 months, a year, always been a good person, always done, whatever they've done. I'm going to give them a shot, right? And to me, that's how to nurture your relationships, not just try to grow it as fast as possible. I used to fly. Oh my God. I think I used to go every festival, every show I can, just to meet people, not to try to sell them on something, not to do this, just to get to know them. And over time, and, I think I've been doing this now like 6 years, maybe not that year or the year after there was something, but something lines up. Because I knew that person, I was able to give them a call, and I grew it over a couple of years. They were more than willing to help, right? So I think that would be the biggest thing about network.
One thing that really stands out to me is when someone offers me help when I didn't even ask for it. And this can go for if you want to work it, or if you want to get released on a label, get to know the team. Ask them if they need help. You're going to an event here in Chicago and you notice like something's off. Say something, suggest, get involved, be part of it. Make it not about yourself. I keep saying don't make it about yourself, but it truly is a testament to a lot of my success is just by helping out other people. So think about it. If everyone in this room came to me saying, "Oh, I want to release on your label," and then I have one person say, "Hey, I want to learn a little bit more about your record label and like maybe see if there's anywhere I can like fit in and help and promote the music for you guys. You have a good Instagram page or whatever, There's tons of ways to get really creative with it."
100%. I always say, like, when you're going to get something from someone, what are you giving them first? You can't just expect to get things just because you hustled for it. We are all hustling our freaking asses off to try and get opportunities. So what are you offering to people?
Yeah, and if you really love this, like I know everyone in here absolutely loves music or you wouldn't be here, like you should want to see everybody win, and it's fun and it's great to just watch everything flourish. So
yeah, it's the best. Okay, so Daisy, the agency side of the relationship business, you mentioned like how you're selling promoters. Like I know just from working with Wasserman people, you guys have like been in the game forever. The relationships go so far back. How do you guys actually build and maintain strong relationships? And what does like the ongoing selling your artists look like behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like it depends. I usually, depending on the artist, like you might have bi-weekly calls, you might have monthly calls, but a lot of the time, whenever we talk to our managers, we're like, what's going on with your artist? Is there new music? What's the timeline for that? Can you kind of give me a little pitch deck? And then when they do, we go out to the promoters and we're saying, hey, Valentino Khan's got X, Y, and Z coming up. Let's do another show. And he was just in Denver like 8 months ago. Like he's due for another show in Denver. Like you kind of like check in with promoters with those little updates about your artists, which are key. Like I'm sure my managers are so sick of me being like, can you send me a new like, deck with like X, Y, and Z, or like how many streams on Instagram, what new videos, they're always, because we're not managers, we're not with artists every day. So the job of an agent, like I mentioned this before, we are the face of the artist. So promoter doesn't know what's going on with DJ Heartstring. They don't know what's going on. I mean, let alone they live in Europe. So having those little key things that we can just like email them every few months is so helpful. So that's a good way.
Yeah, what's your plan, right? You
Yeah,
know, you
what's
know
your
what Spotify pitches look for? What's your 6-month release
Yeah,
plan coming up for the next year?
exactly.
You know what festivals are looking for? What's your next year look like?
Yeah.
How many times are you going to play in this market? Like, once again, it's a scary thing to try and work in advance, especially when it's like, I don't have any songs finished right now, and I haven't played a gig in a while. I haven't posted in a while, right? Deep breath. 1 step backward, 10 steps forward. Plan in advance. It will save you so much time in the future.
Okay, sure. Really quick.
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to the first question I was asked, when was like, you can't just expect your agent just to blow you up out of nowhere. You need to continually be giving them ammunition. Your hit record that happened last month, that's only going to go so far. And if anything, the hit record lifeline is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So you need to be consistently working around the clock. As far as I've come, I double down and work harder and harder every single day, because if I don't, then my agents have nothing to sell to the promoters.
Great point. Okay, last group question before we get into Q&A. What are some common pitfalls or mistakes or trends you've seen derail an artist's career or really throw it to the side and they have to reset completely? We'll start
I
with
can
you.
start with that. I feel like since COVID, we've kind of seen, it, at least from our standpoint, you think that every artist is the same. Well, they're not. Some artists go away for 2 years and then they come back. Some are fine being on the road every single day of their lives, and they're totally fine with that. It's knowing that every artist is different and like understanding their needs, because we mentioned this earlier, like it's so easy to get burnt out. You're on the road, hotel, show, back on airplanes. So just understanding what your artist specifically needs and hoping that they're equally vocal about that too, because burnout is really easy. And then you go away and you've been along for too long. And then maybe your careers, you can't really come back from that.
As an artist coming back from burnout on the road to studio is the absolute last thing you want to do. But the studio and the music is what gets you to where you want to be, which is the touring. So if you're burnt out from touring, the last thing, I don't want to go home and sit there. So I think just really understanding what you're capable of and taking it slow and not overdoing it. Going into a market too early, like I did early on in my career in a couple cities, and it definitely backfired a little bit, but definitely just being very patient and taking your time with things, because yes, we're all passionate, we want it now, but like if things go up really fast, it can come down super fast. So I think having a sustainable career versus just a hit record when you're not ready for it or prepared for it is, in my opinion, a much healthier and a much more sustainable thing to do.
I think just trusting in your brand and yourself, right? Like I see days now where a lot of artists, they're overthinking, they see something cool pop up and they're like, oh, well, this is getting big, I gotta go do this, right? Like if you started your foundation of your brand, you shouldn't just change that because of one small thing or how the things go. Prime example, look at the Sammy Vergi, right? He was in UK Garage for how many years before it actually eventually took off? And there's a lot of success stories like that. Chris Lake being one of them. Like, bringing back Tech House when, it was this like 7-8 years ago, and he was doing stuff like Boneless, and then he transitioned and he stuck with it and he struck true to his brand, and now that's where he's at. So I think just knowing to not just abandon it because you feel like, listen, if you don't think it works for you anymore and you need to adjust, then you need to adjust everything from foundation up. It can't be 2 changes and then that's it. Oh, this is me now. Like, no, you need to restart the brand and rebrand completely. But that would be my biggest thing.
Yeah, all the moments you have are compounding. And just because, these artists you really admire have a release that just popped off, they've been working on that sound for years and years. You can't just expect to change your sound and have your audience even be receptive to it. They could not even like it. So yes, you are going to have to start over again. Take inspiration from those artists. I do it all the time. I love some of these songs and artists that are popping up all over, but I take what I like and I put it into my pipeline and audience in my own way. So
Amazing. Okay, let's get some Q&A in, guys. We got like 15 minutes, so yeah, we'll do John right there, yeah.
Guys, it's great here. My name's John out of Denver.
What's up, John?
Look at making a connection right there, guys. Wow. Raised his hand. I like that.
My question is, will you sign me?
That's pretty ballsy. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Glad he's listening.
My real question is, I think one of the most common things I hear
think it's a good question. It depends. I think our like favorite trifecta is like if an artist has a manager and they're signed to a label, but they don't have an agent. So they're already kind of like making their own spark, but they don't have an agent and they're doing like all these cool things. I'll give an example. I just signed an artist this year. I had been watching her for over a year. She did Coachella, no agent. I was like, who is this person? This is insane, like your connections. But so kind of like you start to notice an artist and they're doing huge things like Coachella, but they don't have an agent. Alarms start ringing in your head. And so that's like a good sign. But I also have artists that haven't only had managers, no agents for years. And I think it just depends the artist. Like if they're content in like how far they want to grow, then that's one thing. But if they want to like shoot for the stars, I think you will come to a point where you do need an agent, but it's kind of just, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question a little bit. Yeah.
If, from the artist side of things, if you don't really know who you are or what your vision is or what your end goal is, there's no one, your manager can't make you as an artist, your agent can't, they are there to amplify you and help you and guide you. But if you don't have that figured out, having a manager figure that out for you will get very messy very fast. They're gonna want you to do things because if they don't know your picture, they can't help you paint it. You know what I mean? So, and you can't, they're not mind readers, but they're there to help you refine that and get to those goals you have. So
yeah, I guess
that was
it's
really
like,
good.
what is your end goal at the end of the day? So if you want to like break out of your own hometown and you want to like do a proper tour and like actually be successful, like not successful, but like grow out of like, I guess, yeah, I don't really know. I'm rambling now, but.
I think on the manager front, like if you have business coming in, and it doesn't mean shows or whatever, like are people hitting you up? Do you have yourself figured out? I think are like the two biggest things that I kind of look for. I think managers come in definitely earlier than an agent would. But yeah, like are people actually listening? Like I also have this, managers have the stigma, well, when I get a manager, I'm going to start moving. Like, no, that's not how it is. Like Kai said, right? Like managers are here to guide you in your vision, not create it. And it becomes either messy or it's inauthentic where it will never work in a world of authenticity now.
you gotta give your managers something to manage.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. We talked about that last year. And I think you need to also think about it like this. You want to talk about the new economics of dance music? Is there any actual real money-making opportunities in front of you right now? Because an agent needs to take a piece, a manager needs to take a piece. If there's no runway, what's the point? For you, for them, think about it. Everyone needs a piece of the pie. So, that's kind of the reality as well.
And if a manager is only getting 20% and you're only making $1,000 a month, like they're not going to work that hard for $200, you know?
Okay, who else? Yes. Hey, Lindsay from Boston. Let's go.
So I'm trying to figure out how to leverage my local life. I started a year ago and started playing because I kind of had everything in order, like my branding. I pretty good on social media. It kind of happened really fast in my local city, but now I'm like stuck. I guess I'm getting offered a lot just in my local scene, but I don't want to pay too much because then I'm starting to not have as many people come to my like. But I just started making music to like try to keep up with the momentum. But obviously that's going to take a lot of time to like master this completely. How do I keep up with like the wave? I don't want to just like stop and be like, oh, I want to do some music now. And I want to keep that going. But what would be your recommendation? Like, should I keep it on a local scale? Should I try to like tour around?
Yeah, it's a really, really good question. It's something that I struggle with in the beginning too. But I think what's really important to know is like what is going to get you to the next point is music. And I don't think your hype's going to die off, especially if you're good with social media. There's so many ways to stay relevant and in front of, actually I'd argue you have more opportunity to stay in front of people on social media than you do at a show. So if you're good at social media, you can really lean into the studio and be like, hey, I'm taking some time away for shows, build some hype with your music, make the local shows even better, and then go reach out to promoters in New Jersey or New York and the closer cities where people can, still follow you from those cities. But the music, all this other stuff we talk about here today, none of it exists without the music. And as bad as we want to go out and get it, you don't want to do it too early, and you want to connect with the people like we talked about earlier. So take the time, learn the music, don't rush the process, take it, production's this whole big thing. Learn how to do the drums, the arrangement, the mixing and mastering all on different days. Don't try and do it all at once. And I promise you, it will all come together in a way that makes sense for you.
Yeah, like Kai said, like production is the biggest thing. I remember when I first started with Truth and Lies, it was kind of a talk I had with them. This is I knew absolutely nothing as a manager. Let me just make this clear. But the one thing I did know is if you're going to stand out, you need a sound to do that, right? And if you're not releasing music in something where, the business is electronic music and you're not trying to put your finger and your spin in that game, it's just not going to grow. The DJ game, listen, don't get me wrong, there's social media. I've seen them out there and that's your niche. But if you really want to go the brand route where you're playing the type of festivals like an ARC and stuff like that, like music is going to be the differentiator for that.
Yeah, I would also say, Olivia and I talk about this, like, don't be afraid to show people that you're trying. Like, it's cool to actually try. It's really cool, in fact, to tell the story of how hard you're working to not be the local anymore. People want to get on that train with you. Like, Unk sitting up here, right? Me, 10 years ago, it was literally weird to be a DJ. Like, I went to my friend's wedding, like, over the summer, and they used to literally be like, oh, sure, me going up in your room to play your beats? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking am, fuck you. And literally, I'm like, they saw me all DJ, and they were all like, shit, it's pretty cool you did that, man. Like, everyone's DJ now, and I'm like, man, this is fulfilling. Okay, anyway. But, like, it is a good thing that everyone is a DJ now. Like, I made a post about this recently. Like, we feel like there's too many DJs. I'm like, there's not enough. There's not enough DJs that are telling the story. Look at all you guys right here. We are all on the same team. We are all up and coming until we've made it, and we're all helping each other lift each other up. So if you're good on social media, literally what you just said could have been a post, right? And I think people make it really hard on themselves to get to that next level because they're so obsessed with staying cool to get to that next level.
Yeah, I actually just started posting a lot more, like, I call them talking head videos, and I never wanted to do that, but you just do it and you put yourself out there, and no one can hate on you for trying, and if you do, that's not the kind of people you want to be around or be influenced or talked about by either. It doesn't matter. So yeah, just stick to the music, and I promise you, it sounds so far away, but yeah, just show people that you're trying. It's super important.
And you came out here from Boston, so you're already doing the right thing. Love that. Okay. Yes, Xander.
So kind of a little bit on the, by the way, sorry, I'm Xander, I actually work in arts management as well. Kind of similar, or to the inverse of what you guys are talking about staying in your own lane. One of the artists that I manage, he's had a lot of regional success, so good hard ticket data, strong record label releases. He actually wants to do a full pivot into drum and bass, which is his true love. But he's focused in that trap rock for so long. He is a little bit afraid now. He has his own vision. He's afraid that he's going to lose that original fan base that he has. As a manager myself, I try and tell him that there's a way that you can go to not lose the heart and soul of what the first project was, keep your other one. How would you go about it? And what are some ways that might help him feel a little bit more calm and steady with his direction?
Real quick, is anybody in that situation right now where they feel like the music they're putting out is not what they really want to make, or the DJ sets that they play are not really what they want to make a lot, or do you want to switch directions? I feel like that question comes up a lot. Yeah? Some people? Okay. Go ahead.
I think when it comes to this, and trust me, I have artists done the same thing. Recent one just went to UKG and was doing bass house for a long time. I think it's really about how you tell the story of why you're doing it, right? And like documenting that. And him forcing himself just to please the audience that he has, it's just never going to work, because in today's society, right, everyone wants authenticity. Years ago, it used to be, I'm going to take the biggest example, Daisy from Wasserman, John Summit, right? Party guy, too cool. You had to be exclusive to get back there. That's what it was like before COVID. Now you look at it, right? He's doing run clubs with his fans. He's in there. He's interacting. He's in crowds, right? So when it comes to authenticity, I think now more than ever, that's the most important. And with the day and age of social media, there's a way to tell that story of that changeover, right? Like, don't just completely one day just wipe your Instagram and just go straight drum and bass, right? Like, give a lead up of like, hey, maybe this is the last trap stuff that I'm ever gonna release, and I'm going to start teasing the drum and bass so that you're not just surprising your audience, I think would probably be the best way I would go about it.
Good question. Okay, we got time for like one more. Wow. Okay. Can I just say no one raised their hands up until like this question? Okay, I'm just gonna close my eyes. We'll go over here. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Lars. I moved here 5 months ago.
Let's go, Lars. You had Malort yet?
What's that?
Have you had Malort yet? Okay, cool, man. Catch me later.
This is going more towards the talent buyer, maybe the agent view. When you're sending out EPKs and you're putting in like, your headshots, this and that, what is like fluff and what is more important? Is it like, do you want an Excel sheet with, these are the metrics? Do you want a cover letter that's like, hey, I host these parties and sold them out this many times? What are some things that stand out so that you're getting 100, you're going to investigate that one person out of the 100 that you're receiving?
I mean, you kind of want it to be like a resume, right? So it's just one sheet. Instagram, maybe videos, unreleased music. You kind of want it short and sweet, but to the point. You don't want it to be like a whole novel of explaining like what you did a year ago or whatever, but you just want like your key highlights. So like anything that if you've performed at like, and you sold out a 200 cap venue, like that's a great highlight to put on there. But a lot of the times you'll see like not so much press photos and stuff. It's more like just like your social, it's like your key quick things that you want an agent or a promoter to see, like your socials, anything that you perform that's like a highlight that you sold out. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like a one-sheeter. We used to call it back then.
Are you currently sending one around right now? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I have one. I have like an artist one sheet, but I just don't know like how much it's fluff.
Sure.
I'm wondering like what stands out.
I think just like key facts, like things that like about, like.
Yeah, I think if you're having trouble hearing back from people, it's kind of, I feel like everyone in this generation is so scared to get on a call or like meet with somebody.
Yes.
Just get on a phone call. Yeah, just get on a phone call with them and just be like, hey, can I grab 10 minutes of your time? Get in a phone call and then you'll have your answer. You don't have to wait around. Maybe they don't want to work with you, but in 10 minutes versus waiting a month and just having to follow up a bunch of times. And then they get to know you more on a personal basis. I love phone calls. I love just getting to meet with people. It's not something I really get much of anymore. So
after COVID, I feel like it changed. Like
Yeah.
I used to roll calls, be on the phone all the time talking to promoters, and it's just email now. So I think
you'll stand out. I think that's a really easy way to stick out among everybody.
Yeah, and also like don't forget that managers and agents like live in spreadsheets. So like show them the numbers, show them the real numbers. I know like we talked about that, but like the data is so important. Okay, we have time for one more question. Blake, you had your hand up first, sit in the front row. Go ahead, brother.
I'm Blake, from Canada, here in Chicago. So I've been producing for a long time, and I make basically all dance music, all house, tech house. But it's slightly different. Some it's bass house, some it's more like a spicier tech house. Lately, I've been making like country tech house UKG, right? Is it a bit? No, but like.
They like that in Canada? Yeah, we will. Yeah.
But the thing, what I'm trying to get at is like, is it kind of a red flag as a agency, label owner, manager that like I'm kind of not sticking with one sound? You guys talk about like Chris Lake or Sandy Burgess. It still kind of falls under like if you knew my music, like yeah, it kind of sounds like something you would make. Your thought?
As a label owner, it would be hard for me to reach out to you and knowing what I only have a certain amount of people I can reach out to in a day. So if I don't know what I'm going to get back from you and not ask, but I don't think it's a red flag. I think it's more so knowing where to put you on a lineup or knowing where to place you in a release schedule. So by all means, experiment all you want. But I think when it comes down to your releases, just think about every time you put out a release, that's a statement of where you are as an artist and where you fit on a bill. So keep producing everything. I think it's great. I produce all types of stuff. And this is something that I personally went through. I went through UKG, indie dance, tech house, minimal deep tech, all producing that in the last 2 years. I take the best of it and the stuff that makes sense for my story. And this is why knowing your goals for 6 months to a year and doing those vision boards like Olivia talked about is important. Is this release going to get me to there? No. If not, okay, cool. Make a alias and put it on Bandcamp just so you get the gratification of putting it out.
Don't you put a lot of your stuff on SoundCloud? Right? just keep doing that and see what works. Because once again, labels, like we get hit up by so many people. We want to see what you're already doing. If I see you're consistently releasing, if it's all good and you're doing your thing, I love that more than somebody that's like, yeah, I have all these unreleased IDs, man. They all need to come out on a label. I'm like, you literally haven't put out a song in 2 years. Like, how's that going, you know? So I think, again, like if I want you guys to walk away with anything, create the demand first. You create the demand. You have to in any way, however you want to do it. Do you want to say something, Mario?
Yeah, I was gonna speak about like your brand, right? Like I think as far as like what you officially release, like, you know, I have artists that kind of do the same thing. They'll bounce around and whatever, but if it really doesn't relate to like the core of your brand and you're just, you know, for example, like this country UKG, like maybe that is.
Yeah, let me can I actually hear that, by the way? Yeah. We got open decks later. by
This
the
guy
way.
on
Yeah,
Stagecoach.
Yeah, I gotta hear this after. You're gonna have to send me this link. I'm very
Another good networker right here.
But no, but in all serious, right? Like if you go for a certain vibe, aesthetic, and it's just like the music is just off of that, I would say that one maybe put in the folder where you enjoy yourself, but not out, right? I don't mean that in a bad way, but yeah, I think ask yourself, does this feel like me? If I release it, if my fans know me, are they gonna feel like this is a different type of record, or is it something that they're gonna connect with me for?
Yeah, you should use something like Vault, right? Vault is a new application. It's kind of like Laylo, but it's where your fans can find your unreleased music and relate to you, and you can give to them in there. You can have conversations. So, like Mario said, it doesn't all have to go out to the world, but like, I mean, I want to be in your vault, bro. That sounded weird. You know what I mean. All right, yeah, I just want to hear that track. Anyway, let's end on that. Yeah.
Now we gotta end.
Make some noise for the panelists, everybody. Okay.